Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a bonus Blue Moon for the month of May Tarot Oracle reading. And Aquarius, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Aquarius, we all have a little bit of Aquarius in us somewhere. If you do have your birth chart, which house is Aquarius in? That might give you further clarity as to where this energy lies for you. Also, this is a timely reading, so if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it has been a while since I have posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That might give you further clarity as to your situation now. We'll begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, which is the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups energy is talking about almost having total fulfillment in love. So this, in tarot, the cups represent love, quite often romantic love, but probably not in this case unless you have 9 romantic partners. But this is more about, this card is about, love of your partner loves you, you love where you live, your children, your pets, your career, everything's going really well. You just have a lot of fulfillment and happiness in your life, or the promise of it anyway. And this person sometimes represents that you're a public figure. This person's on stage. This could just represent you have an online platform, or you have a more public type of occupation, or you might be a superstar. Sorry, my cat has, she loves the energy of the readings, and she's got happy feet, so she's just got to circle a couple times and then she'll settle down. All right, so we have you can see this person is leaking energy. So this card is saying you have to stay focused, because right now you're so close to your goal. And a lot of times people, they'll quit just before they cross the finish line. They'll get distracted by something out of the corner of their eye and lose the race, basically, or come in second anyway. And this is, so the way he's sitting here, he's got his feet turned out, and that represents in body language draining energy from your sacral chakra and your base chakra. So it lowers your creativity and your ability to produce. And but in his upper body, he does have his arms in the sign of an infinity symbol here. He kind of reminds me of a genie. So this is saying this person has had success in the past, and he knows what success is. So it's about maintaining your focus so that you can achieve your goal. And we can't tell if these cups are in the past, are they in the present, above his head, or in the futures. The shelf may be further forward. It depends on your situation. And then we have the Chariot coming in. The Chariot is representing that you're on your divine path. You're going, where you're going. The Chariot, there's no reins. This is just like a tank. It's like running over all the obstacles that get in your way. Tung, 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 tung. You're on your way, and get out of my way. I'm on my path. It's that type of energy. You're in the mood. And then we have the Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords is representing one of the 4 queens in the minor arcana. She's been coming up quite a bit, because these days we need to have a lot of discernment with all the AI out there, and just a lot of what's happening in the world. There's a lot of change happening, a lot of things where, wow, it's like every day there's something else that we're kind of dealing with, and a lot of truth coming out. So this energy is talking about, she's very independent, and her element is the element of air, represented by thoughts. And this is represented by the sword. And the sword is talking about your mental intelligence, discipline of your mind. It's a double-edged sword, so it's about your intuition and your logic to be able to come to creative solutions. Now, she does have her left hand out, so she's willing to receive this happiness. And, but she also has been there, done that, and has the t-shirt. She has the souvenir. She is not interested in repeating any bullshit from the past. So she's saying, if you want to entertain talking to me, you need to make sure that you come in straight up and that your information is accurate and there's no bullshit, because I am not in the mood for it. Heads will roll. And then she has her head above the clouds, representing that she has clarity in what she will and will not tolerate in her life at this time. And this is the energy you're in right now as your self-image and how you see yourself right now. And we have the Three of Cups. This is a card, these three people are celebrating, but a lot of times the celebration, sometimes, we'll take it with a grain of salt here. A lot of people read this as like celebrating the harvest, but I find that this card can quite often come up in situations where there's gossip and slander and that type of energy. There's three people toasting each other, but they're not really toasting each other because they're not looking at each other. They're toasting an event that has happened or is about to happen, that type of energy. But they are not looking at each other. And in many cultures, if you toast someone and you don't look at them, they have a superstition, particularly in Europe, that you are going to cause 7 years bad luck for them and yourself. So if you toast someone in Europe and you don't look them in the eye, they'll freak out on you. They're like, we don't need bad luck in my romantic life. And so we'll see. We'll see what they're celebrating as we go on with this reading. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles she's been showing up a lot in these readings as well. So there's a lot of truth coming out. There's a lot of discernment about the truth. This energy, you'll be feeling this quite a bit, Uranus, because I feel that, Aquarius, because you are ruled by Uranus. And it's been about 2.5, 3 weeks now that Uranus moved into the sign of Gemini. And Gemini energy is very quick-witted. It's an error. It's a horoscope sign that's ruled by the element of air, as are you. And so this energy will be affecting you quite a bit as well. And it's basically, bottom line is the energy of Uranus in Gemini causes the truth to come out. And so it's the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, coming out. And we see this played out every day in the bigger picture on the planet. In the news, there's always something coming out. Like, I just looked for 5 minutes this morning and I was like, okay, done. Because there is like, oh, okay, like there's someone else has been arrested from the elites regarding, wrongdoing. And it's just like, wow, it's just every day there's something else coming out. Having said that, I'm all for the truth. It's, if you're on the right side of the sword of justice, then it's also a double-edged sword. Then, hey, the truth is a good thing. It's just that it's really like there's a lot of change. And then with the AI, it's like, okay, is that true or not? You have to always check. And you're almost like, you have to be so careful even opening emails because there's so many scams out there. And you're always trying to decide, is that a real is that a real life email or is that a scam? It's constant, really. We're being fed that kind of energy right now, and a lot of people are feeling that. And then there's all this new energy coming out. So the energy of the blue moon coming up here is actually in the sign of Sagittarius, and it is like blue moon is a pretty rare occurrence. It only happens every 2.5 to 3 years, and this one it's when there's 2 full moons in one month. And we had our first full moon on the 1st, and our second full moon, the blue moon, will be on the 31st. It's in the sign of Sagittarius and opposed by this Gemini energy. So we're feeling it, that energy coming back in again when it comes with this moon. And basically, Sagittarius wants to expand through knowledge, and they want to use their intuition. And Gemini is very quick-witted and very logical and like here, there, everywhere. The mind is moving, moving, moving. So the Gemini energy loves when they're very adaptable to new information coming in and coming up with new ways of doing things. And your sign is also in this element. Also, Aquarius doesn't, has a very quick mind as well. So this energy could be really beneficial for you right now. The blue moon is, I feel like it's a springboard for moving into June energy. On June 9th, Venus and Jupiter, and Jupiter rules Sagittarius, which is what the moon is under. And this energy is, a lot of astrologers are saying that June 9th is the luckiest day in the entire year for love and money. So what more could we ask for? So we have all this love coming in here in this reading. And so now we've got some pentacle energy. So I feel that this blue moon is a great time to, almost like a launching pad for moving into that June 9th energy. So just kind of paying attention to your intuition, because with 3 moons in 1 month like this, it's a highly intuitive month, and it's also highly emotional. So just be aware of that. If that's how, you're feeling a lot of that energy. Generally, we'll feel the full moon energy 3 days before and 3 days after quite intensely. And what is it today? It's the 25th, and that moon is on the 31st. So even now you're probably feeling it, because it's been 3 moons this month anyway. And so the whole energy is in that in that energy. And Venus and Jupiter are moving into the sign of Cancer just for that one day, 24 hours, June 9th. And that energy is, the last time that we had that energy was something like 31 or 32 years ago. So, it's something to pay attention to. Really, really good opportunities coming up. The readings have been really, really optimistic because of it. I feel that's a big part of the reason why. So let's keep going here with the optimism. So we have the Queen of Pentacles now. We have Pentacles coming in. And this energy is talking about, the health, wealth, and happiness on planet Earth. A big part of that, of course, is money. So it is represented by a coin. But it's about the matters of Earth, like the element of Earth and earthly matters. She is known for being very resourceful and can make something out of nothing. She prefers quality over quantity. This represents generational wealth, a legacy that you could pass down from to your children and your children's children. But I always wonder, why does the Queen of Pentacles have to be so resourceful if she comes from generational wealth? And it's been coming up quite a bit in this reading. So we're going to continue and see if it comes up in your reading as well, because it might have something to do with an energy that we can clear moving into, this June 9th energy and be set for it. All right. And also for the blue moon. So the Page of Cups is talking about some form of communication coming in. The pages would work for King and Queen and the court at early, 7 to 14. But you have to remember, back then, the life expectancy was half of what it is now. So they didn't have childhood like they did then. And this would be a huge coup for them and their family. Really, really a big upgrade in their lifestyle, working in the palace. And their main function would be to deliver messages and, just do small errands, etc. And as they were there and they gained more and more accurate, they became more mature. If they were still there when they were 21, if they could afford a horse, they might even be considered for knighthood. So each of the pages has their element. In the old days, this would always be a male, but this could be a female in her masculine energy. Keep in mind that all of the figures in the tarot are archetypes. So the queens could be a female or a male in their feminine energy, and the kings could be like a male or a female in their masculine energy, as with all of the different characters. And these days too, the only way they had to communicate back in those days was to be in person. But these days, keep in mind also that it's unlikely to actually come in person It's more likely to be a phone call or a text message. Maybe you get something in the post. Maybe someone delivers you flowers. You get invited somewhere. Because this is about love. This could be a first date. Sometimes this could be online dating. The energy could also come. You might be on social media platform. There's so many of them, and get messaged by someone or be invited to an event. And when you attend, that's when you meet someone in person. So you need to realize that sitting at home you're probably not going to have someone knock on your door and say, "Hi, I'm the page with some information for you." You're going to have to put yourself in a position to be able to receive that communication. And the Page of Cups, he's very much aware that there's plenty of fish in the sea, but he's very much focused on this one. And so this can say you have your eye on someone, or someone has their eye on you, and you're wanting to maybe go out on a date, that type of energy. Would like to get to know this person would like to get to know you better. And then we have, this is your self-image, being like you're being very clear about what you want in life right now. And as far as abundance is concerned, you're careful who you associate with. That's the energy I'm getting. And this is talking about your early childhood. Now, I feel like there's some sort of generational wealth there. And if it's not, why isn't it with this card? This is what I'm noticing here. This is talking about, this is communication from your early in life. And if that was generational wealth, we'll look at that in a second. This is your emotional foundation at this time. So you might be in the mood for dating. If this isn't about someone, this could be about something, the cups can represent love of anyone or anything. So it could be someone or something as well. It could be something you love to do or something you love to be. But generally, this is talking about someone who wants to ask you out on a date, or, that beginning type of get to know each other energy. Now, let's get back to these pentacles. So we got the love. This cup would actually give you 10 cups, which is the ultimate. In a perfectly imperfect world. And then this, we only have 7 pentacles here. 7 pentacles is nothing to sneeze at. Like, there's 10 pentacles in tarot. And, the 10 pentacles would probably be, like, it's the ultimate. So it'd be billionaires, trillionaires. 9 would be multimillionaires, 8 would be a millionaire, and 7 might be 700K, that type of energy. So it's not a small amount. This person is used to being successful, and he's put all this energy into this, whatever this project is, and he's wondering, like normally I would get a way better return than this. Normally, if I put this kind of my money, my energy, and my time into something this much, I would expect a much higher return than this. And he's trying to figure out what's gone wrong here. Like, where's the money? My lifestyle, I've been working hard at this. My lifestyle has been suffering from it. And this is what I get out of it. It doesn't, he's trying to decide, should I continue with this project? Should I just give up here? And start something new, or should I try and tweak this? And tweaking is good energy right now. Sometimes just because of all that Aries energy, that's all the signs moving into Aries earlier in the last 6 months in particular. There's been a lot of energy of new. And so we are having to learn to tweak things, basically. And Aquarius energy loves that energy. It's about, instead of going back and trying to fix something that's broken, Aquarius energy is more like, let's do a little experiment, and then let's observe the result. And if the result is better, then we'll double up on that and do more of that. But if it doesn't improve anything, or it even makes it worse, then we stop right away and do another little experiment, instead of putting monumental effort into trying to fix something that already feels like it's broken here. So we have the Wheel of Fortune turning. This is talking about, it's actually 3 wheels, the past, the present, and the future, turning in synchronicity to the now. And so this is talking about good fortune coming in, and this is actually a Sagittarius representation here. The Wheel of Fortune is like happy-go-lucky Sagittarius energy for that blue moon energy. So I feel like that you could have some in the near future here, you could have some really good energy coming in that could propel you forward into getting that, you know, that cup. And then you would have 10 cups here. This is saying it's you know, coming in. It means it's already happening on the spiritual realm. And so the wheel is turning in your favor, and as long as you're on God's plan, you're in good hands here. All right, and then we have the Empress energies for this is the underlying energy for the external forces. The Empress energy is, she's from the Major Arcana, and she embodies all the qualities of all four queens from the Minor Arcana. So she's learned a lot from whatever she's gone through in life, and she takes that knowledge and she applies it as best she can, so that she's constantly becoming better at manifesting. And she is considered to be pregnant with possibility. Sometimes this card can represent pregnancy, so be careful if you're out and about that you make sure that you protect yourself if you're not wanting to get pregnant. It's saying you're very fertile at this time. And also, she's got all this wheat growing at her feet, and that's what that is representing. So she doesn't, the way that she manifests is she does her research, figures out, okay, am I going to grow wheat or am I going to grow durum? Durum, okay, now which field would be the best field to grow durum in? All right, I've picked the field, now she'll check out the soil. Does it need amending? Does it need fertilization? What does it need? And she'll make sure all the stones and rocks and anything that could damage the seeding and harvesting equipment is picked clean, so that there's no problems with machinery. And then she will wait until the best time possible that she can to seed that crop. And after it's done, she waves her wand and says, "Thank you, nature, do your thing." She's known to grow bumper crops, and she has confidence that nature will do that for her. She doesn't worry about it from here. She's not she's an organic farmer, so she doesn't spray. She's done everything she's willing to do. That's as much of her time, money, and energy that she's willing to invest in that project. And then she moves forward with the next one. So this is talking about the energy coming in from external forces, beneficial energy coming towards you, Aquarius. And we have judgment being called on the spiritual realm. So judgment comes from the spiritual realm, and the trumpet is blowing, doo, 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 and the ancestors have awoken, and they are climbing out of their boxes here. So this is literally saying that they're waiting for some sort of justice, and that would maybe be about these missing, the missing pentacles, and the missing pentacles. Okay, I'm just getting some a little bit of information coming here. So it would be about missing pentacles, and maybe from when, like, they couldn't clean up whatever this energy was before they crossed the veil. And so that's why they're so excited. The descendants are waving to them from across the troubled waters here, and they are, yay, finally justice is coming in. And I'm just noticing that in between this is this energy here. And, you know, we've got missing lifestyle, missing coin, and having to be resourceful even though you come from generational wealth. And we have them cheering. And then we have this card in between, which can sometimes mean that there's something fishy in your love, in your relationship with love, and something stinks. So just with judgment coming in here, right here, this is partnership, commitment, and marriage. So I'm just like, okay, let's see, what is this about? Let's continue on. And we have moving off to calmer waters after being in rough. So the rough waters in tarot represent volatile emotion and chaos. And it's wanting to be able to be in calmer waters and quiet the mind and feel like calm after some major turbulence. And I feel like this person has to, the conveyor has to really push off hard with this pole, like dig deep into the mud to get out of that water. And that's what this is representing, is having to do some inner work to quiet the mind. And it has something to do with your childhood, something that happened. And this is again on this energy here. So it's kind of interesting how it's here. And this quite often can, you notice there's no baggage between this adult and this child. So this is about moving off to calmer waters to ask God for assistance in healing some childhood wounds. And so this can represent your inner child. And this is going in the position of transition for you. So there could be some energy that's holding you back from achieving this. But the Wheel of Fortune is now turning. Judgment is being called. Let's see, let's keep going and just see what this is about. Yeah, never-ending nightmare. So what's the never-ending nightmare about? We have, this person's waking up in the wee hours of the morning and from a nightmare possibly, and it's a reoccurring one because we can see these 9 swords here. Overthinking, and then, falling asleep and being worried. And then, your dreams are affected by it, and you wake up and you're like, oh, the same old nightmare. But what I noticed was interesting is this person is laying on a bed with the bed frame has wood carving here, and there's 2 people fighting with swords here. So it's like, yeah, maybe don't sleep on a bed with carvings of fighting with swords if you don't want to have an overthinking a conflict between your minds, right? And so this energy can also represent someone waking up after asking for that assistance, and you have an aha moment, and it's this Holy Spirit has come over you, or in your dreams, maybe your ancestors are trying to wake you up in your dreams. Quite often that's what they'll do. And with all this moon energy, the blue moon, and like 3 moons in 1 month, this can really be a highly intuitive month. So you might be being sent messages to like, hey, pay attention to this and pay attention to that. There's some money missing. The ancestors are like, hey, you need to look into this. It's that type of energy. And this is in your higher learning. And we have 10 of Wands. This card has been coming up a lot also. That's because of all the truth coming out with Uranus and Gemini. I really feel it's like doing its work. It can be really stressful because it's like, whoa, come on, is there anyone honest out there at the top? And whatever's happening at the top is definitely also occurring at, in between and throughout, right, to varying degrees. Now, this is talking about really feeling burdened, like really feeling like, oh, that the load is very heavy. Now, this person is so close to home, but, they've got their nose right in here because they're doing their best, and, they're exhausted and they're trying to get that harvest home. Now, the wands represent you've planted seeds and they've grown into, your actions have grown into these wands. And with any luck here and with good fortune, you're like the Empress, you have bumper crops basically. And maybe that's why these are so heavy. But this also can represent carrying other people's burdens. And if the Chariot is already coming and the Wheel of Fortune is turning, any energy that is karmic, if you're carrying burdens for other people, those burdens, you're going to end up suffering from them because you're carrying them for other people. And so now is a great time to put some burdens down. This is a really heavy load. And you're so close to home, but you see, there's a saying, you can't see the forest because of the trees. It's when you're so wrapped up in the details of what you're doing that you can't see the big picture. And I feel there's some sort of energy here. I feel that these burdens could be from your ancestors not being able to clean something up before they left, and they want you to look into it. Something about pentacles that are missing and generational wealth. So, the wands here, a lot of them could be heavy because they're laden with the fruit of your labor. And some might be burdens. Just put those burdens down in the field and phone up the people and say, I put your burdens down in the field. Go and pick them up if you want them, but I'm not carrying them for you anymore. And don't expect them to be excited about that, because a lot of times people would prefer when other people carry their burdens for them. But the ancestors are cheering, because you're not just clearing it up for them, you're clearing it up for the entire bloodline. And they didn't work that hard for you not to receive something that was meant to come to you. And then we have the Three of Pentacles. Three of Pentacles energy talks about, this is a good energy as well. It's similar to this energy. You're in an elevated position. People are noticing that you do really good work. They're really impressed with it, and they want to collaborate with you. So that's really good. And quite often this will represent someone that just graduated. Like, if you got your degree and you've been going to university or college and you have your degree now, or you've been apprenticing and you have now got your certification, for the trades, having your ticket. This can represent in the entertainment industry, if you're an actor or an actress, maybe you have the leading role in a really big production, or you're on Broadway and you have the leading role. You're in a band and you've got agents coming by and wanting to sign you up. You're a really good athlete, and the scouts are coming to offer you scholarships for college or university, or you're already there and now they're coming forward to offer you a position on their team. It's that really, really awesome energy. But history is rife with many people who have signed really weak contracts, particularly in the entertainment industry. So this card is saying, if you're in a position that you are elevated and you're at the top of your craft, you need to make sure that anyone you collaborate with, that they are in alignment with how you want to live your life, because it's not all about money, it's about lifestyle as well. And so this is saying, make sure that you have someone look over the contracts if you're signing contracts or agreements. I apologize for the noise. I thought that I've been late getting my readings out lately, because in the morning it's usually really noisy here. I have major construction. It's really interesting, actually, how they're building a tower out here. And it's really interesting how all the foundation work they're doing. I'm watching them like they've been probably three months just working on the foundation. And it's reminding me how important your foundation is. And that's basically what this is saying here. It is like saying you have a strong foundation here. You don't want to sign up for something that you end up really regretting later. And many times people are breadcrumbed, in several of these industries. You sign the contract and then you find out later that everybody else is making way more money off your back than you are. And so just make sure, this card is saying, make sure that you check everything out, that you make sure that you have a lawyer look over contracts and agreements. And this also can sometimes represent secret society energy. So remember, like with the secret society energy, the group is always way more important than any individual. And so, if you make agreements with them, they take those very seriously, and it's a group energy. And so the whole group is going to make sure that you do so. So if you don't want to be part of that group, then make sure that you take a look at that end of it also. And we have it's a cutthroat it's a cutthroat world out there right now in many ways when it comes to contracts and agreements and work and that type of energy. And with all the AI out there, all of that, a lot of people are finding, we're hearing about it every day, about people that are at the top, that are in charge of a lot of like powerful people. And a lot of people, feel like they've had the rug pulled out from underneath them. Every day there's some more information coming in about how they didn't do what they said they were doing, or that type of energy. And so it's really important for you to make sure, again, this is saying it's cutthroat energy out there, and especially in some industries. And this is saying, this person is willing to risk what he has, like to get what he has, but you have to make sure that the risk is worth it. So, he's fought off 2 people here, and he's saying, hey, if you want, I'll take you all on. Now, this outer conflict can also represent that inner conflict that needs to be healed. And this can be talking about, going off to, I still feel like there's something that happened in your childhood here, that your ancestors, it might not have been directly about you, but it was in that time frame. Because the only communication we have coming in also is someone who would be 7 to 14, which is, elementary school, and then 14 to 21, high school, and going to college, university, that type of age. And so I feel like that maybe your ancestors are trying to tell you something. But the Wheel of Fortune is turning, and judgment has been called on the spiritual realm. So I feel that this is coming towards you. So pay attention to your intuition, and sometimes it really is beneficial to write things down. You think you'll remember, but then you'll wake up. And also, if you wake up from a dream and you want to remember it, don't move physically. If you just lay there very still, as soon as you move physically, it can break the energy up and make it harder to remember. All right, I do hope if this is good for you, I'm going to clarify this, but if you're leaving the reading here, thank you for your time and energy, and for any likes and comments. I really do appreciate them. They help me build my channel. Consider subscribing. I would be honored if you did so. I'm going to clarify this now for those of you who want clarification. I'm using my Oracle, Tales from the Vector. This is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. I started this back in 2007, and in 2020, I completed all 64 paintings. I do have a website. It's talesfromthevector.com, and in that website, I have a gallery of all the paintings, and the numbers on these cards represent the order that the paintings are in that gallery, and I will put them in the description box below in the order they appear here. So if you want to check it out, you can. This is one of the paintings. This is the Aquarius. There's 12 horoscope paintings in my Oracle, and I am working on bringing it out as a deck. But I have a lot of written information, but you have to play with the cards to really understand how they interact with each other in different readings. And so I'm learning a lot with every reading. It's been fun for me to finally be at this stage. There's some very big paintings. A lot of them were 3 feet by 4 feet because they're dragons from the future, and dragons like big paintings, I found out. The tower here, it's saying, this card says divorce, but basically this card is saying that the worst divorce would be from source energy. So make sure you stay on your designated path, keep upgrading your energy like the Empress. Sometimes it may seem that other people who do, cut corners and they do things, cheat a little, that they get ahead quicker, but it's not lasting. The truth always catches up with everybody, and so do your actions. So the Empress, she just does things correctly, and then it adds up over time, and it's a lasting, and it's a satisfying feeling knowing that you've done things in the strongest way possible. And then we have this energy coming in about having the courage to move forward in these times, because it can be intimidating, especially with a lot of new information and new energy coming in. A lot of us feel a little bit like, oh man, the way I used to do it always worked and now it's not working. Is it me? Is it? No, it could be you, but it also could be, it's happening to you too. Is it, Stella? Oh yes, it's hard being a cat. All right, so this is Mother's Worry. I feel like this is more talking about just the concern on the planet right now with a lot of people you know, being in a position of a lot of change and a lot of you know, disruption in the world, and a lot of people are concerned financially because of the price of oil, and that drives everything else up. And just it's just such a volatile situation in the world right now. There's a lot going on. You know, the last time we had that energy of Uranus and Gemini was in 1941 to 1949, and that was towards, you know, the end of World War II and the aftermath of that, which wasn't that pretty. So people can kind of feel that, that like what's going to happen energy. So just, you know, remember that, you know, to quiet your mind, because your mind can get you in a loop where you just get yourself anxious, and it's not, you may have noticed that you can worry all you want, but it doesn't change anything. It just actually makes things worse. The star, this is talking about innocence. So it's sitting on here, which is kind of interesting, because they could be talking about someone that is innocent, but there's a lot of gossip and slander about them. And quite often the Queen of Swords energy, there will be a lot of gossip around her. She doesn't gossip herself. She's very independent, but there quite often is a lot of gossip about her because she does things her own way, and she can appear to be very cold because she just doesn't want to repeat the same old mistakes. It's not an energy that she's in like constantly. It's just that at this time, after something has happened here, it's caused that energy. So this is talking about that coming out and having to be resourceful at the same time. When you come from generational wealth, it's kind of you know, there's something going on here. And we do have the Leo energy. Leo is about leadership. It's talking about, you know, if you think about, it's talking about impulsive energy. You think about teenage boys. It's kind of at that stage where there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of leadership, you know, natural leadership skills, but a lot of immaturity and impulsiveness. So it can be talking about, you know, sometimes when people don't have confidence, they'll come off as being really arrogant. And it's saying be careful about being in that energy, because it won't benefit you at this time. And I just want to point out, when I do have signs coming up from the horoscope in my general collective readings, I'm not talking about individual people. My intention is that we could all learn from each of the signs. If you ever get your birth chart done, you'll find you have probably all the signs or most of them in your chart. And you can, so there's a little bit of every sign in each of us, and we can learn from them. And we can learn a lot more about how people function too, because each sign has its strengths and weaknesses. And so the guiding star energy is talking about using your intuition regarding this kind of energy of a person coming in, or someone from your past, because this is talking about the keeping you on your North Star path, on your destined path, your guiding light here, your North Star. And I feel like this energy is like that distraction taking you away, because that's where the Tower is sitting too. So it's kind of be careful of that energy and use your intuition around people. Like, especially if someone from the past comes in and they're like, hey, how are you doing? You know, you want to, you know, be careful. Sagittarius is talking about, I feel this is talking about that blue moon coming up. You know, it's quite rare. Enjoy that energy. It's, you know, ruled by Jupiter, and then use that as a launching pad for moving into that June 9th energy with a lot of strength. And then we have justice coming in, and that's sitting on this wheel of fortune again. So there's got to be some sort of judgment that's being made and justice coming through regarding missing pentacles. I feel generational wealth that didn't go where it was supposed to for whatever reason, or some of it didn't. And then we have Virgo energy on here. So yeah, the Empress is quite, you know, her energy is definitely pentacle energy. And Virgo is like very analytical and, making plans and putting things in order. This cleanliness is next to godliness, that type of energy. And so the Virgo energy can be really beneficial for sorting through what's going on and then putting it in order. So making strong plans so that you put those plans into place and you've done your research and hey, that's pretty much the best that you can do. The rest is especially if you're growing a crop, you're not going to be able to control the weather. That's out of your control. So external forces, understanding that you can't control the external forces, you can't control the weather, you can't control, the climate, the political climate. You can vote, but how we're finding out that that's not always going to empower people either. I don't know. There's so much weird information out there. So it's about what you do have control over is how you react, or are you going to respond to the information coming in. So the external forces coming at you can, if you respond, you're going to have a better outcome. And we have harmony when this comes through. So this is about the throat chakra. So it feels like there's some sort of communication coming in the near future with this Wheel of Fortune turning and the Chariot here. And this is sitting on partnerships, commitments, and marriage. So keeping this in mind, use your intuition at the same time. We have Pisces energy. So Pisces is in that transition. I do feel that this is talking about Neptune moving into Aries energy. It takes 14 years for Neptune to move from one sign to the next. And Neptune moving into Aries is that energy for the next, for 14 years, we've been doing it this way. And we finally figured out, hey, this is actually working for me. And then, boom, see you, Pisces, we're going into Aries. Pisces is the senior executive. It's a water sign. And then we're moving into Aries, the newborn energy that's full of fire. Rami energy, the glyph for the Aries energy is a ram. So it's more aggressive than that dreamier Pisces energy. Oh, things will just work out, that type of energy. It's not working the same. So you might have to tweak things a little bit. We have the sun coming in here, and I do feel that that's you've asked God for assistance, and the Holy Spirit is coming through to tell you in your dreams, in your intuition. If you take these steps of action, you're going to be able to. And the first one is put down burdens that don't belong to you, because if God's going to clear this energy and judgment is coming in, and karma hits, if you're carrying those burdens from other people, guess who's going to get hit with them? So then it's going to put you in a challenging. And then judgment on this energy here also. Again, this is God saying, be really careful who you align yourself with at this time. Make sure, and that would be for all signs. And I feel like that's a sign of the times, because there's a lot of truths coming out. And when it comes to karma, you can have, a lot of people feel it's punishment, but it's actually cause and effect for your actions or inactions. So, you could have it direct, you do something and you directly cause karma, or you don't do something and you should have, and you directly cause karma. And then there's also the energy of, your ancestors' unfinished business, and that gets, that debt gets placed on their descendants. It has to be cleared up for the bloodline. And then you could have the energy of associates, people you associate with. If they've got karma and you're associated with them, when this justice comes in, it's supposed to be in your favor, but you're hanging out with people that are going to be hit with the karma. And if you just signed a contract with them to work for them for the next 5 years or something, you can see that that's going to limit your ability to get the justice that you deserve. And we also do have, look at this, there's a a lover coming in for you, like one that would be someone that would be really beneficial for you. That this is all available for you. You just need to stay on the straight and narrow here. Follow, be the best person you can be, the best version of yourself. That's your purpose, really, is to just keep doing the best that you can and keep moving forward in a strong way. All right. This is really good energy, Aquarius. And, make sure you pay attention to that intuition. It's really going to be sharp at this time, I feel, for you. Thank you for the likes and comments. And also consider subscribing if you resonate with the channel. I would be honored if you did so. Bye for now, Aquarius.